So when we start working with people, we always start with the middle world because the tree of life represents the lower, the middle, and the upper. And you think about, the roots of the tree, and that goes down into the lower world. And you think about the trunk or the middle part of the tree, which is the middle world, and the branches that reach up to the sky and are kissed by the sun's rays are the upper world aspect of you. And so when we do shamanic journeying, we always start with the middle world first. And this is where I call it gathering your troops, where you gather who is assisting you on this journey on the other side of the veil. It's the place where you meet with your animal allies, with your spirit guides, where you visit your ancestors and you access your totem, where you can go to the sacred gardens and meet with those who have passed on the other side. And then you can start exploring some of the upper world stuff through the Akashic records and the secret garden. We dabble into just a little bit when we go into the middle world. And then we also dabble into connecting with your heavenly mother, father aspect. So you can feel that connection with them as well. So there's another awesome journey you can do in the middle world. If you say journey to the cottage, there is a garden that is in the back of the cottage where when you look at the garden, it will give you a lot of insight about what is going on with you energetically.
Right.
It's a place where you can do energy work on yourself. And it could be symbolically look like, just picking out weeds or trimming branches or this and that. But symbolically, what that garden represents in the back of the cottage is your energy body.
Yeah, it's like this landscape. If you could think of like a landscape where, there's this huge tree where everything is kind of connected into that grove where the tree is at. And it's this landscape that you go and explore, where you can go to explore all of those spaces. And
the shamans call it the inner landscape.
Yeah.
That's actually what they call it in that middle world.
Yeah. And it's like where you can explore yourself. I've done a lot of ancestral healing there. Is allowing, like, it's like I've done some journey work where maybe I'd go to the garden where maybe I was holding on to ancestral stuff that wasn't for me, and so we would weed that out together, or we would call upon our higher guides, call upon Christ, call upon these higher teachers to help relieve that stress and give that back, or to take that off of my space. And so you can do so many amazing different journey works there in the middle world that are so profound. It's so beautiful.
And a lot of people, they don't realize that in that middle world space is where you can also connect with individuals who are in a body right now. So people that, like, for example, what I'll do, there's a journey to the cottage where you can meet with people that maybe you're having some struggles with. And what I'll do is I'll sit on the front porch of this cottage and I'll invite their soul to come visit with me. And I will talk to them on a soul level. I'll say, these are the things that I'm struggling with. I bless you. And I ask that you open your heart, that you see maybe things from different perspectives, or this is what I would hope for us in our relationship. But I'll really talk to them on a soul heart level at that cottage again and again and again, Jenn. What will happen is that individual will come to me to resolve the issue or have the conversation. And in the past, I've always been the one trying to be the peacemaker.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to get along. And I try to fix things, which is very codependent of me. And I've really done a lot of work on healing that. What I've noticed is that when I started doing this middle world journeying to the cottage and working with people on a soul level, that reversed literally in my marriage and other relationships, where all of a sudden they would come to me, or all of a sudden say, what, I've been thinking about what you said. And I now I feel like I'm getting a better understanding of what you're saying. That really opened my heart. And I want you to know I love you, or like things that I never thought in a million years that they would
Yeah.
ever say.
And
They do.
it's not like you're crossing someone's boundary and doing that. It's that
Mm-mm.
you're just saying, hey, my soul wants to speak to your soul, whatever it needs and whatever will be the most beneficial for you. I open that
Yes.
space up. It's like not a form of manipulation at all. It's a space
It's
of like
not.
authentic truth. And
Yes.
then not expecting an outcome, but just allowing your spirit to speak to their spirit. I feel like it's that concept of surrender, because when you surrender, beauty happens.
Yeah. And on a soul level, we're not carrying all the stories and we're not
Yeah.
carrying all this baggage. You're able to really connect with the true essence of someone's energy.
Yes.
And that's so healing too, because it's like when you connect with someone's energy on a soul level, it reminds you again of who they really are and helps you open your heart, your compassion, your understanding, your love.
Absolutely.
So you're so right. It's not manipulative. It's very centered in love. And I don't say, hey, this is what I'm going to, I don't do a spell and say, this is
Yeah.
what's going to happen and enforce my will. I just say, can you please open your heart into
Absolutely.
feeling into where I'm coming from, or know that I love you and know that I'm here for you. So it's a very different level of work that we have that available, and people don't even realize that you can do this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. I also love in the middle world. One of my favorites that I go to all the time is meeting with your spirit totems, spirit animals. I think we'll have to
Yes.
do a whole podcast on this, because our spirit animals can bring so many amazing messages to us. I always have
Mhm.
this moose that's always there with me, and the moose is very symbolic for who I am in my life. But when I'm seeking guidance or when I need a little support, um, I'll go to the grove and I'll see what animals are there. And depending upon what animals show up, we have this amazing book that's called Animal Speak. We'll have to do a whole thing on animals, I feel like, but it gives
Mhm.
me guidance or understanding, or it helps me receive information depending upon what animals show up. And even as
Yes.
we were speaking today, I was kind of in my space as you're talking about the branches, and I like see this little squirrel and mine just hanging out right now. And so I'm like, oh, I need to look into that to see what this little squirrel is wanting, because I haven't seen him in my tree before. And so it's always fun to just see what animals also come up and the healing that they bring in as well. And I have found time and time again that my moose that comes with me is when I go in to do maybe lower world journeys or healings, is that moose is
Ooh.
always there with me to just be right by me, um, to
Wow.
give that strength as well. And mooses are so symbolic. I could go on and on about animals, so I'm
Yes.
not going to. You know, Mother Earth has given us all kinds of signs and symbols and answers. And so your animals, spirit animals, can just be a part of that as well.
I love how you mentioned that, because once you get really connected in to your spirit animals, you start becoming hyper aware of the different animals that are coming into your environment, because you recognize that everything is symbolic and that spirit
Yes,
is communicating to you all of the time. So that is one of the beautiful gifts that that gives you, because it not only makes you aware of who's assisting you on the other side of the veil, but also it makes you hyper aware of your support system here,
physically, they'll show up
physically
for you.
too.
Yeah, they'll show
Mm-hmm.
up for you. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing like a grasshopper, like an extremely large amount, it's like, okay, well, what's the reasoning or what's the message behind the grasshopper? And you can find that out and be like,
Yes.
okay, I hear you. I got it. I'm
Yeah.
clear.
And how spirit would communicate with me is it comes in threes.
Mm.
It's kind of like that confirmation. If something repeats, whether it be a commercial, I see it in my road, or I see it this or that, or it comes up in a movie, like it'll just keep repeating. And I'm like, okay, okay, I need to go look it up and I need to gather my information and support. And it always is perfect. It's
Yeah.
always exactly what I need to hear, exactly the energy that I need to feel supported by. So yeah, it is such a powerful, it's like we
So
could go on and on
beautiful.
about these journeys. And thank you for watching Modern Sages. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We are so grateful for your support. We have an Instagram account as well as on Facebook. We have our podcast, which is the Modern Sages podcast.
And we are so excited to launch our Gifts of Spirit classes in our Modern Sages Mystery School.
Absolutely. Oh, we're so excited. So we're going to link the information below in the show notes for more information about our mystery school.